Good morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever time it is where you are. Today we are going to learn how to safely and properly use the 4-post hoist. Now, the most important thing when you're using any piece of equipment is safety. So for the 4-post hoist, you want a pair of CSA approved safety glasses, just in case there is anything that sprays or falls into your eyes while you're working under the car or while you're using the hoist. Work gloves are also optional. They are recommended because you could be working with sharp objects or something that might cause further injury. Hearing protection is also recommended, but again, still optional, just due to the nature of loud tools and things that you might find in a shop such as this. You also want to be wearing closed-toed shoes. Work boots would be preferable, especially steel toes, as those are the ones that properly protect your feet if anything were to land on them, but overall, having closed-toed shoes is a win. You also want your long hair to be tied back so that it is up and away from your face, and so that it does not dangle into any parts of the machine. Another important thing is having appropriate clothing. So preferably not clothes that are super loose and could dangle into the machine, and the work pants, again, not loose, not dangling, preferably long, no shorts, because again, that just gives you an opening to get an injury if anything were to fall or go wrong or something were to happen. Another important first step is a safety walk around, so just make sure that there is nothing sitting on the hoist, such as these, or around the hoist that could cause tripping hazards, or just get in the way in general. These things, while they may look little, could lead to bigger issues down the line, so it's important that you check and make sure the area around your hoist is clean and tidy and safe. Another thing you want to check with your hoist is that these guards are on the front. They just stop the car from rolling forwards too much, as well as checking all 4 corners to make sure that these cords are not frayed or damaged and everything seems to be in proper working order. Another very important step is checking the lift capacity of your hoist before you put a car on it. So you can see here that the capacity for this hoist is 14,000 pounds. And if I want to check how much the car that is currently on the hoist weighs, you can check it here in the door card, and you can see GVWR, which is the gross vehicle weight rating, and it is only 1,960 kilograms. And if we want to double check, this hoist can lift 6,350 kilograms. So this car is totally okay to be on the 4-post. Now, when you're putting a car on the 4-post, you usually want someone who will stand in front of the hoist, but not directly in front, preferably a little bit away. For us, this would be up here on this balcony. That way you are far enough away from the front of the hoist just in case anything were to go wrong or these guards were to not stop the car if it rolls too far forward. And when you are guiding the car onto the hoist, you want to try and center the tires on the runways. Here it's not quite centered, but for some cars it's hard if they have a skinnier wheelbase. You can see here this side looks okay. But you just want to get it centered, that way the weight is properly balanced and everything goes well. And once you get your car on the hoist, you should put the parking brake on just to prevent it rolling anymore. That way when you are lifting it or anything, working on it, whatever, it does not move and it will be safe, hopefully. Now, another method of stopping the car from rolling is these wheel chocks. You can see them on either side of the front tire here. Because this car is already on and already being worked on, you can see that the rear of the car has been lifted up using these rolling jacks, and that is why the chocks are on the front. That way when the technician lifts the rear of the car, the front will not roll away on them and they can work on it. But it works either way. If you were going to lift only the front of the car, you would put the chocks around the rear tires, and if you were going to lift both sides, such as if you were doing full brake service or tire change or anything like that, you would just pick a side, and whatever side the chocks are not on, that is the side that you would lift first. Another important note with these rolling jacks is that when you are putting a car on a lift with rolling jacks, they should be closer to the center of the runways on the four-post. If they are too close to these ramps here, a car that maybe has low ground clearance might scrape the bottom of the car on these jacks. So that's why you need to probably keep them in the middle when you are putting a car up on the lift. Now, once you are all set and ready to lift your car, you will come to this control panel here. This has all your buttons and levers. So this green button here is what lifts the vehicle and the hoist. This little lever here is what releases the locks. That is important for when you're putting the car down. And this lever here is what actually lowers the hoist. Before operating the hoist, it's important to read any safety notices that are put up here. You can see it warns of pinch points, exposed pulleys, trip hazards, and just to be cautious when you're using it. So make sure you read all of these very important details before you use the hoist, that way you are using it as safely as possible. Now, with that out of the way, let's lift. Now, when you are lifting using the hoist, this one or any hoist in the shop, it's important that you let other workers know that the hoist is in motion and that they should stay clear. And so in this shop, we just shout, "Clear!" and then press the green button and start lifting. Now, you hear those clicking sounds? That is the hoist going past the locks. So, while this is a hydraulic hoist, and it's important that you have a backup just in case the hydraulics fail, which is why there are mechanical locks. So every time it clicks, you usually hear a few, just slightly delayed. That is when all four corners of the hoist are going over the locks. When you get the vehicle to a height that you want to work at, wait for the clicks, and then wait just another second more. If you stop the hoist as soon as you hear that first click, there is a chance, and probably, that one of the corners of the hoist didn't reach its lock yet. So one corner will go down when you go to lower on the locks, and the other ones will be at where you thought it would be. So it's important just to wait a second after you hear those clicks once you get it to your height, and then you can lower it on the locks. We'll raise it up a little bit more, and then I will show you how to lower it onto the locks. So, I've got it to a height that I would like to work at for this vehicle. So I heard the clicks, and then I waited a second, and now we're going to lower it onto the locks. And now we're not going to touch the lever that releases the locks, we're just going to use this one, and it will lower it just a little bit until it rests on the locks nice and safe. And just give it a few more taps, just to make sure that it is properly set on those locks and ready to go. And while we're up here, there's a few other things that you can notice, like these ramps. They tilt up to create another little barrier just to stop the car from rolling if anything were to happen. Just another safety precaution, because that is very important. Another important aspect of using a four-post lift, or any lift in general, is making sure that the height is comfortable for you and what kind of job you're doing. It's all very well and good lifting it as high as you possibly can, but if you can't reach, then that's going to make it difficult and you could possibly get hurt. And likewise, if it was too short, you would be probably straining some of your muscles to lean over and fit under the car. So it's important that the height is one that works for you and the job that you are doing. If I were to be doing a tire change on this car, for example, I would probably put the hoist lower so it's at about chest height for me. That way I can see all the lug nuts and everything on the tire and it's easy to reach, but also I don't need to lift it too high to get it back onto the car. Now I'll just go over these rolling jacks here, just using this one on the back that is already being used. So It's got these little pads that can slide out to fit under preferably some sort of structural component of your vehicle. Usually we put ours on a suspension component, but one that's still safe and solid enough that it won't move. So you can see it just rests there. And if the vehicle is really tall, there's also these extenders. You want to use them to make sure that the pads actually reach the part of the vehicle that you are trying to lift from. And once you are sure and have double checked that the pads are in a safe spot to lift from and everything looks stable, you can look down here. You see ours are very conveniently labeled, but there is a pedal here, so pushing on this left side will make the lift go up, and pushing on this right side will make it go down when you're done. And then there's also another lock over here, just like with the 4-post hoist itself. The rolling jack has a mechanical lock just as an extra bit of safety precaution. Now, these rolling jacks are air powered, so I'm going to hook up the air and let's get going. Now, you'll see that when you are lifting, this lock is slowly just going to slide down on this side. There's only 2 lock settings on this rolling jack, and it was already sitting on the first one, so I will take it up to the second one, and you'll see how it just settles in there, and that's how I know that the lock is there, and I can put the jack back down on the lock, and it is safe to work. So you see how it fell down there? That means that the lock is ready. I don't know what else to say about that. So then you're just going to use this right here. And now the rolling jack is lowered onto its mechanical locks as well. And you are ready to work on whatever you need to work on. Brakes, tires, suspension, anything up here, anything under there, anything you want. Now, to bring the car down using the rolling jack, we're going to need to lift this lock here once we put it up again. And then we will keep the lock lifted and press the down pedal, and it will go down. Now, once again, because this is not my job right now, I did not want to put the car all the way back down because it is still disassembled. So once I was sure that the lock was past the point that I had it at, I just put it back down so that when I continued putting the jack down, it would eventually rest on the first level of the lock. And now it is back where we started. Now we can just unhook the air hose, and if you are completely done and the jack is all the way back down, you can slide these little things back in, slide the pads back in, and put it all back where it was before. But again, I will be leaving this one like this for now. And if you have an air hose attached to your hoist like this, as with the normal rules of keeping your shop clean and safe, make sure that the hose gets all wrapped up and it is off the floor, out of the way. If there are any cars to drive in or people to walk by, no one will slip, trip, fall, get injured, or anything. Once your job is done and you're ready to lower it, just do another check just to make sure that you didn't leave anything hazardous on the runways and there's nothing and no one underneath the hoist before you lower it. And as with the rolling jacks, you are going to want to raise the lift using the green button first, just to get it up off the locks, and then you're going to use this lever and you're going to pull it towards you, and that will release the locks and you'll hear a little hiss as it does that. And then you are good to press this lever while still holding this one and lower the hoist down and the car. Clear! And boom, there you go. Your car is back on the ground, and assuming all four wheels were attached, you could very carefully and possibly with guidance reverse the car off the lift and out the door once you are sure that the job is done and everything is safe. Much like the pre-op checks before you use the hoist, you should also double check again that nothing got damaged while you were using it, the cords aren't frayed or broken, and there is no obvious signs of damage that could be hazardous if someone were to use the hoist after you and not be made aware of it. As with anything, make sure everything goes back where you found it. So these chocks, they probably have a home somewhere. For us, they just sit tucked away down here, but make sure that those are back so people who are using it after you can find everything they need. And also, if you still have questions about how to use a hoist, there's always training that you can do online, and there's always people that you can ask. Not me, because I'm not professional. But just pay attention to what the hoist is telling you, and you can always look up the user manual or operations manual online for your specific brand of hoist. Now that you are ready to show off your super awesome hoist using skills, here's a few common mistakes that you should make sure that you do not make. Not putting the chocks in. This is absolutely necessary. Even if your car has a parking brake, and even if you trust it completely, which you probably shouldn't, it's very important that you do things like these physical barriers to stop the car from rolling. Another mistake is not putting on the parking brake at all. Preferably if yours works and if you use it on a regular basis, you should also use it here. Once again, it is another thing to make sure the car doesn't roll, because that is quite possibly the worst thing that could happen when you're using a hoist, is the car rolling and you or someone you work with getting hurt. Another mistake that I kind of brushed over earlier is not waiting until after all of the clicks to stop the hoist and set it on the locks. You definitely want to wait at least a second after you hear a set of clicks before you set it down onto the locks. If you don't, like I said, one corner or one side will be angled, and this could be a potential hazard in that it is not sitting level with the rest of it. The car may move, anything you put on there may move, and that is not good. That is all I have for you today. I hope you learned a little bit, and I hope that you can now use your 4-post hoist safely and properly. Thank you. Now, when you're going to lower the hoist, we're going to come back to these levers here. Like I said before, this one releases the lock, so you're going to pull this one towards you, and you're going to hear it hiss as the locks release, and then you're going to... That's not right.